They put tits on a mouse. They literally put tits on a mouse.
Let's not give it loud for everybody for Anthony Eugenio. We're gonna have a next time. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to an Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne. And, well, Wayne's not here. He will possibly be here. That's the great thing about internet, folks. He is theoretical in all possible pixels, so he could be here or not, or be in your mind or not. Schrodinger's Wayne, really, in the long scheme of things. So, we brought in a huge piece of shit, but big friend of the show, and that's Justin George. How you doing, buddy?
Good, thank you. That's the best intro I've had in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught, but we've named guests on the show, friends of the show, huge pieces of shit. Because I actually, the original of this was I called you it. When I said Justin George, of course, huge friend of the show, but gigantic piece of shit. Yeah. And I think it's a great moniker, because I think everybody that listens to the show is probably a piece of shit in some way or form.
I think it's, in a way, I've helped you guys be able to gauge. Like, that's a good litmus of where does this guest fall as far as pieces of shit, but friend. Like, yeah, is he below Justin, above Justin? I think I'd like to think I made a contribution to you guys' podcast with that.
Yeah, I mean, especially because you are our only guest, I think, for sure, that has a furry outfit that does have a butt flap.
No. Well,
no butt flap? Damn.
Well, the one you saw, no. But there's several others.
I wonder, because, like, that's the thing. Everybody wearing furry costumes is fucking, obviously. That's what they're for. But is it a situation where they have to take off everything but the hat, and they just wear the hat because the costumes aren't made actually for fucking? Or are there furry costumes designed, you know, like with a spiral duck dick and a spiral duck vagina so that you can actually do it? Or, you know, how do you think those work?
I'll be honest with you, that's the most I've ever talked about furries and sex. You really, I don't know. Now I have ideas. I haven't really thought of it to that degree.
I love things like that. Like anything in life that you can.
Oh, that's the beginning. That's the clip to start the show. Sex with furries. I really like that.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
I love things that on the surface just you don't ever think about, and
Right.
then you get into the like, let's say cooking. You don't think about how a filet mignon is made because you just eat it and you're like, oh yeah, well, it's just steak. Then when you learn how to cook, you actually learn what goes into it, and like, man, you know, a filet you should really cook on the pan and then in the oven because you want to make sure that the sides aren't too crusted and black. It's disgusting. Anyways. Getting fucked as a furry animal on the surface, you don't even think about it. You just think they fuck. That's it. When you think about the intricacies of how to wear a Big Bird costume and fuck another guy's face, it's complicated.
Just the cosplay group people already. Kudos to them for how accurate and how, like, those guys look amazing, and it's art. But when you can do that and create a fetish out of it, that's what, like, how did these people know? Like, how do you know that you like this? Or anything like it? Just, oh man, like, I'm wicked into feet. Like, how, before the internet at least, like, I don't know.
I think
the thing is, I think that's hilarious. But it's also concerning. But it makes me feel better because I know, like, that of the Justin George friendship piece of shit litmus test, I feel better knowing that there's those people out there.
Tons of them. I think that the people who would do that, the only way, like, you know how like a serial killer, if he's like hurts animals, you're like, oh, that's a sign of a serial killer, all that stuff. I think a sign of a furry is a VHS copy of some sort of Japanese anime tentacle monster porn. You know those?
No.
No? Oh man, I'm breaking you in. So there is a whole subsect. Wayne, I wish Wayne was here because he would know the exact name of it. Weirdly, I swear to God, he would.
Exactly.
He would. It's a type of
I
porn.
know this exists. I know this stuff exists. But
They only come on VHS. That's the only way you can get them. It's like the ring tape.
you keep using labels for people, but you keep describing it intimately. Like
Yeah.
VHS, you know the director. You
Exactly. There's
seen
scotch
how-
tape on it. I know that. It's the only way you can get it written on there.
But I heard that's what furries watch is all the things I just accurately described that I know of.
Yeah, and I mean, if somebody who was a small Portuguese man had a badger outfit, perhaps in his closet, uh, one of the old Chuck E. Cheese badgers, the ones that played the piano, that's how I rock. That's the only way I can come, folks.
My first, true. That's what was in the backseat of your car. That's right.
Exactly. It's Five Nights at Anthony's. That's where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fucking.
Did you just go through puberty again? Did I hear that?
Maybe did my voice crack?
I think so. All right,
Well,
that's enough.
it's all the electronic dick in my mouth. Okay. Because I would be a furry. So what about the animatronic furries? You know what I mean? Like if you're not only wearing the furry costume, but you're wearing one of the Five Nights at Freddy's ones. The ones that are like animatronic.
Yeah, yeah.
That. Oh, come on. That's got to be like. It's like AI porn right there.
I
Wayne
don't
wouldn't have let me go 8 minutes about furries.
I've been to Chuck E. Cheese, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember a time when I looked at the animatronics moving and was like, "Wow, that's
Sexy.
cool." Oh, like that's awesome. It was always like, "What the fuck is?" I
Not
don't,
me.
I thought the pizza was scary. That shit was rough.
They put tits on a mouse. They literally put tits on a mouse. That is, I remember just as a kid be like, ah.
There's gonna be so many great intros to this episode. Tits on, you know what's awesome? That's Tits on a Mouse. That sounds like an awesome punk band.
Yeah, it does. I do. That is
Tits on a
a
Mouse.
great punk band name.
Yeah,
I bet that is a band name already.
I'm gonna Tits on a Mouse. I gotta do that. Tits on a Mouse is there's something there.
There's something there, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, so a big reason why I wanted to bring you on is I really liked the episode last week that we did that was about craziest open mic experience that we had. And I said, I don't even know during it if it made the podcast or not, but I said we should bring Justin on to talk about his because he's got a fucking doozy. So,
Oh, which one?
oh, well, you pick, actually. Maybe I'm surprised at what you pick. So here's the thing. You want to set up, this is how we do it. You set up the mic that you did it at where the craziest experience happened. It could be a show, open mic, wherever. You could be on lineup or not. But first, explain the place, where it's at, if you know any history about the mic, when it started, any of that thing, and then slowly tease your way into your story.
Well, now I need a reference of the one that you're thinking of. At least.
Oh, Sweeney.
Oh, all right. Okay, well,
That's what I was thinking. That's a great story.
Yeah, all right. So I was only thinking like recent.
Well, we could do multiple stories. This is
All right,
we gotta make it last.
I'll do this one. I eventually I want to I'm gonna make this into a bit or find a way to tell Steve Sweeney this, or I don't want to ruin the open mic story, but so the first open mic I ever did, I think I was 26. So I'm 43 now. We're talking 17, 18 years ago. I did one open mic. I went to this. It was in Boston, right off of Boston Commons. I don't remember the name of the bar, but it's changed hands or names a couple of times. I don't know why Grasshopper or something like that makes sense, but it was on a Sunday night. I went there to check it out once, and this is before, this was MySpace. There was no Facebook, and it was I found this out through phone calls type thing. I don't remember how I got it, but it wasn't as easy as it is now. So went to this place. Went there, hung out, met the host, don't remember his name, shot the shit. Went back another time, hung out, just kind of kind of feeling confident about it, talking to people. I was writing the whole time. And then he at the end of the second night that I went there, it was, all right, man, so what are you going to do? I'm like, all right, put me on the list next week. I'll be here. All right, cool. Awesome. So I got my set. I'm kind of ready. All right, open mic, no sweat. Now, leading up to this, the most people I think that were there at this open mic was 8. And it was only 8 for like one set. Like one person brought 4 people, did the set, they left. And then that was, you know what I mean? So it was only, you could have done it in an elevator. That's how many people were present.
Well, we know those.
Right. So I go to my first open mic. I bring my girlfriend, my brother, and I neglected to think that that Sunday, I think it's Columbus Day weekend or what, I forget, but so I was going to do an open mic in Boston during the fall in Boston, so all the college students are there. So Sunday night with a Monday off, they treat Sunday like a Saturday. So the first open mic I ever did, which I thought was going to be 5 people, was like 80 to 90 college students in one spot. So I'm shitting my pants. They pick numbers, whatever. It is what it is. This is how it's supposed to go anyways. Pick numbers. I get number 17, which is my lucky number. It's going to be awesome.
That's a shit number.
That's been my favorite number for as long as I can remember.
Ew.
Shut the fuck up.
17? That's a disgusting number.
You can do this podcast by yourself if you want to.
I mean, pick 8 or something nice like that. 17? You're like, that's the legal age of the women in South Dakota. All right, sorry. 17th in the lineup. Lovely spot.
No, you continue. Go ahead.
Something about a dick in your ass? I don't know.
So I had 17, and people are coming up, and I'm feeling confident. Like I've rehearsed this. I know the times. I know the spots that I think I'm supposed to do it. Before, the way I knew how I was gonna do it, it didn't matter if they were 5 or 50. It was like, I'm not gonna stop. There's not like crowd work and shit like that. Like I'm gonna blow through this, get out of here, say I did it. I know what I'm gonna do. So leading up to people are going, is all right. There's people that had to meet that bomb, makes you feel comfortable or better when other people do it. And then at like number 13, 12 or 13, just like there was a lot of like commotion behind the stage. And then you heard people, hey, how's it going? Oh, whatever. I don't know. This is my first mic, so I don't know any of these people. So the host comes up to me and goes, hey, what number are you? 17. He's like, all right, man, I got to bump you a little bit. I got somebody coming in that wants to like try some stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, that's easier for me anyways. I was already stressed the fuck out. Why don't you just push it back until more people leave? That's awesome. Gets to 15, and the person that wanted to try out new shit was Steve Sweeney. So Steve Sweeney jumped in before 15. 15, Sweeney did, everyone was supposed to have 5 minutes. Sweeney did like 12. Shredded. During that time, number 15 was like, this is bullshit. I've been waiting just because of Steve Sweeney. He leaves. Number 16 is also his first open mic. He's like,
fuck that.
He goes, fuck this. I'm leaving.
I was like,
well, all right, whatever. So my greatest open mic story is the first mic I ever did had 80 drunk college students, and Steve Sweeney opened up for me. And I bombed bad.
Damn it.
But actually, I didn't bomb. I told a couple good ones, and then I got a big laugh, and then one dude looked at me like, I don't get it. And that's all I remember. I forgot everything. The whole, like, everybody laughed at whatever the joke was, but I only saw one person. Like,
I still do that. I still fucking do that. Like, the whole room could be laughing their ass off, and one guy looks at me with a pissed off face, and I just hyper focus on him.
I thought you were saying you still do that where you look at me like I don't get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get everything you say. I'm just assaulted in the cortex by it. So it's great stuff, though. So Steve, I met Steve 2 weeks ago. What a fucking nice guy that guy is. Holy shit. I didn't know what to expect because he's, I don't know, it's tough for anybody who's 6'7" to look at me. Because, I mean, just like, I'm so far down there. I don't know how, like, I don't talk to children. And so I'm always weary of tall people. You're right on the fringe of me not even talking to you. And,
Oh man, so I'll try harder next year.
exactly. Try to put some stilettos on, and
Yeah.
I will never fucking talk to you again. And Steve came over to me and Wayne. He's like, "You guys look like comedians," and started talking to us. You know how that was the best feeling I've ever had, I think, in my entire life, that he was like, "They're gross. They're probably funny."
Right, yeah. You guys look like you're not allowed near schools. Come on over here.
You must tell jokes.
Right.
Yeah, he's great. Yes, so this is the future, Justin. It's not today, actually. I've gone over this with Wayne. Obviously, this podcast comes out on Monday, and this is not Monday. This is before Monday, but technically people might be listening to it even past that, so it could be even farther in the future. But anyways, I'm at Steve Sweeney's on Sunday for the finals of the contest, and I would have either done well or bad by the time this comes out. So I'm either alive or dead, really. So, this could be a really monumental episode.
Well, it was nice knowing you.
Could be the last one. Yeah, exactly. This is definitely the last one. Oh, yeah.
Can I have your backdrop after?
Yeah, that it's made of fabric, which is nice, so you can wrap my body in it.
Yeah, nice.
This is what I want draped on my line, shot with an arrow on fire. I really want a fucking Game of Thrones death so bad. I've been audiobooking and watching Game of Thrones again, which is so stupid to do because I'm so far ahead on the show, so far back in the books, and I'm trying to keep it straight. But
So while overseas, there's only like you're either working, sleeping, working out, jerking off, or watching streaming shows. And everybody was like, you have to watch Game of Thrones. And I had a lot of time on my hands. I just couldn't. Oh, you got to watch 3 seasons. Like, you got to do better than that. Like, what kind of, like, if marriages started shitty at first, you just got to wait around for 3-4 more years. Then it gets really good. Oh, okay. Then everybody would do it. But you can't.
that's not true about Game of Thrones, though. The thing about Game of Thrones is that it has the craziest things happen after the third. Like, the first 3 seasons are more politics, and then it gets into, like, crazy shit. And the politics seasons, they're great. I think they're my favorite seasons are the first 3 seasons, probably. But they're more like standard, this is an old-timey place with sword, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually there's fucking, like, zombies and shit that happen. And you're like, God damn. So that's 3rd season plus stuff. So that's why people tell you to wait towards that. But those are dumbasses that need, it's like when they watch Marvel movies or, my favorite movie because of all the explosions. Like, you don't need that. You can just watch a nice...
What was that?
Whose
You just did dumb boyfriend voice that girls do when they talk about shit their boyfriend says.
Who else watches Marvel movies?
So I was like, let's go to the movies. And he was like, no, I don't want to go to the Marvel movies. You just did that voice.
Exactly.
God,
Like the Hulk.
You're a loser. I also, like, just from... Not that we hang out and watch shows, but I think it's fair to assume that I don't have an attention span to watch 9 seasons of something in a row. They just look at our text messages back and forth. There's 4 ideas per text.
It's true. Wayne is like that too. He doesn't watch shows in consecutive order. I don't think he's got the ability to do it.
Yeah, but Wayne's in a he's abnormal with what he likes and what he does. Like, he doesn't fit the bill for all.
Weird Al. He loves Weird Al, man. He fucking loves everything.
If I showed you a picture of all the comics that we've met and hung out with, and I said, find the one that doesn't like Star Wars, there's no fucking way you're picking that guy.
I know. You're fucking... He's going to know 5 Yoda quotes, but he knows none. Knows nothing about it. He watched UHF, the Weird Al movie, and he watched Weird Al things. I don't know what else he watched, to be honest with you. I don't know what else came in his role. He's playing video games. He's really good at those. So I mean, that's
You
where
watch,
his knowledge is.
would you watch like a random movie if you were like, hey, what is this thing? Let's get it and watch it, or do you like you got introduced to a movie and then that's like on your playlist type thing?
No, if it's like a '90s to early 2000s thriller, I don't care what it is. I'll probably put that on and watch it. I love those fucking. They don't make those anymore. Where they were like, hey, let's take 250 grand and make 1.5 million. Now they're like, I want to put in 360 million. I want to make $1 billion, and that's or I want to make it for $50 and make. They just don't do it anymore. But those like, you're talking like Keanu Reeves shit. Or Edward Norton shit, like any of those weird thrillers on there, I'll put that on anytime. I can't name one right now.
Too into like thrillers.
What was your share? Comedies?
Comedies and action, yeah. Like
even dumb action movies are great. Anything Arnold. Love those.
I'd watch a thriller if it wasn't like real, like Friday the 13th. Like, all right, that's it's all like pretend, but like I don't know this I remember watching this movie the first time. It was like, this is fucking like, this is how it really is. The movie The Cell, Jennifer Lopez,
yeah,
and,
that ass baby.
Like that was like, oh shit, like it was always just like there was a killer and that was a bad person, but then it showed you what that person was like viewing, like what they thought they was doing, and that I was like, oh, that freaked me the fuck out.
That's why I love movies for that. That's the only type of movies that I really get into nowadays are the ones that have twists and turns like that, because it's so fucking much better. Like, what's a good one is, do you ever see Secret Window, the Johnny Depp one? That's what like comes to mind when I think about the weird thrillers I like to watch. So it's it's like an old Johnny Depp movie where he plays a writer, and it's a Stephen King book and all that they go through. It's so good. It's so goddamn good. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but Thriller by Michael Jackson, also great. I don't know if you can, if you do anything thrilling, people are going to be fucking into it.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to text me after you watch this and go, oh shit, you had a lot of salad.
Yeah, I got way too high before. Well, hey, listen, when the parents are away, the children will play, and Wayne's not here, so I talk about anything I want, all right, motherfuckers? Send the hate mail that goes only to Wayne out if you'd like. It's not getting to me, motherfucker.
So, what were we... You asked a question, I don't even know if I answered it. Oh, you really left? Oh. You're on mute again. Fuck the open mic pancakes. Fuck 'em. Piece of shit. So fucking sick of those guys.
My bad. Does it work now?
Okay. What?
Am I good?
Yeah.
Sorry. I clap in the air like that so Wayne knows this is where we edit. So I'll tell him 24, 35. I goes,
That's really what you do?
Yeah, I do. I guess. Because when he see it, he'll see it. He'll see it. He'll know.
That's how you guys should communicate when you guys meet at a mic. Like, just do.
So we did all right. So the mic's back on. So I did Nick's Comedy Stop a couple weeks ago, as you know, and I was really nervous before doing it because we had to be on time with your time. We couldn't be, it wasn't flexible. We got to be right on. So I told Wayne, I was like, hey, there's no light, and I got to be right on. So once I get to 4 minutes, I need you to give me a sign so I know that it's at 4 minutes. And right before I went up, they gave me 3 more minutes, and I didn't tell Wayne. I was just like, "Oh, sweet!" So, so I just kept going, and I see Wayne. He's like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah."
Wayne's having an anxiety attack because he doesn't know you're going over 3 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, he's fucked. He fucked all of his shit up."
I don't know. I don't know how I'd probably just get up and grab you and like get out of here. Like we gotta
He
go.
borderline did, and afterwards he's like, "You didn't see me?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw you. I forgot.
Oh
I
man,
told you that."
what it would be like to hear his thoughts during that process of like,
Panic.
there's one thing Anthony didn't want me to let him do, and now he's doubling the time on a mic.
Yeah, it's because like
That's a bit or a skit. There's
we
something
did.
like that.
I just remember because the thing at Nick's that is awesome, I like, but is hard, is the spotlight completely blinds you. So when you're up there, you can't see anything. So I only see the silhouette of Wayne in the background dying,
Yeah.
having a heart attack.
What mic was it we went to? And it was the lights were so bad. Where you didn't know, like there could be 100 people out there or 10, you didn't know. Oh, was it the place in Maine where someone heckled me and I didn't know?
Oh yeah, I know exactly. Empire in Maine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a real comedy clip. So they have a real spotlight, and yeah, that's what it's like. They put the problem with it though is that open mic puts the spotlight on you, and there was smoke on the stage at the time. So like
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
so
And
we're in
everybody-
prime.
And nobody was near the stage.
Nobody's there. That's the problem. You can't
Oh,
do
that's
all
what it
that
was.
production. Have nobody.
You had to look up at where the tables were, and the light was right there.
Yep. This is a Steve Bjork thing because I saw him do it. We did a show with Steve, and there wasn't a lot of people at the show because it was just a summer show, so not a ton of turnout. And he's like, when it's like this, it's kind of better to take away the production, meaning like the house lights higher. He didn't use the mic. He put the mic in the mic stand, and he went in the middle of the people, and he just started talking. Mark Riley, headliner, just did that at the beer garden where like he turned the spotlight off and walked in the middle, turned the lights up, and just talked to people. And it's pretty because you need to connect. But when the room's full and you can make it completely dark, blinding with the spotlight so that you look perfect, and then you can just do your act properly, I don't think you can kill harder than in that circumstance. So I am learning because I have a spotlight and a setup. And I go everywhere, and I'm like, we set it up like this, the same way every time. Dark as hell, all this stuff. And then I do a couple shows where the house lights, for instance, are a little brighter. And you realize that the spotlight kind of washes you out, and it makes it look worse, and it disconnects you from the audience. So there's a lot to think about with fucking ambiance. Ugh, what a word. But when it comes to the shows, because you can ruin a fucking show.
I don't know so much if lighting is so much the thought process that I just like being closer to the audience. So I would think if the lights were dark, if the lights were out and you couldn't tell, like I laugh is one thing, but like looking at facial expressions like disgusted or like oh my god, or like I don't do like I don't think you guys don't do crowd work. I don't think or like you do crowd work, but like the ending type.
Yeah, I do crowd work, but I usually know where it's going. I do them in 2 jokes in my 10 minutes. Like if I'm doing 10 minutes, I got 2 jokes where I'm going to talk to the crowd a little bit. And yeah, I do it in the dark too. It's so you see people for even when the spotlight is bright in your face and the room is dark. You see just the outlines of people. So when people react, you can react to the outline. You just can't see like the particulars of their face. I don't know. I don't know which one I like better. Like imagine Strange Brew, where you could see everybody's exact face throughout the whole thing. Yeah. It is nice to be able to connect with people and be like pitch them the joke and get them to connect to it. But every professional comedy room is a dark room with a fucking spotlight. So there's something to it.
The crowd work that I can't even call it crowd work, but say you threw a punchline out there, it hit, and then you focused on one, like, so everybody got the joke, decent laugh. If you if you have like someone that you can look at and point at and go like something like right, like to agree with, in a way you're kind of like getting the room also to agree with, like, oh, that's our spokesperson type thing, is like, I don't know, that sounds dumb the way I'm pitching it, but like that's
No, I know what you mean. It spreads.
one person. I'm making contact with one person, but everybody's in on this conversation through that person, and that's really, I think that's the only time I really try to do crowd interaction, is just like a microphone on the other side.
I notice a lot of your crowd interaction too happens in the beginning of your set. Like you'll go up there, usually say something about the host, you talk to a couple people, and then you get into your stuff. I like that. That's a good way to do it. Like I think if you're gonna do some improv before your material is always great, because then you know what you got left. You're not doing it in the middle and wondering like how much time do I got left.
Yeah, and I don't remember where I heard this. Sorry, it was like a long, like, comic from the '80s, I think. But by starting that, it's like you've introduced the character already. So even though it just looks like I'm just like, hey, waka waka waka, but I've set the tone different from the person before or whatever mood they were in. And I get them on. So if there was a theme going throughout this, this week is going to be, or last week would be something Donald Trump assassination, and then if you kept this guy's going to say this about that, and this person's going to like, hey, we should have got him. Oh, too good. Glad we missed. And then you could keep judging. Oh, that person is probably thinking this way and that, and you can get a vibe on the crowd. So like, all right, well, I'm gonna, instead of assassination pro or con, I'm gonna go whatever the opposite everybody else was, and go like, this is like, I'm an asshole. See, look, either go the obvious way or like make sense of what would be silly, but be like committed to it. And then it kind of sets like, all right, so now that we have a relationship, now I'm going to start my set.
Perfect. I mean, that is analytical shit that is like, so for instance, I have recently started to think about when I'm setting up my set, like you said, establishing the character within the first couple jokes so people buy in, and then I could do my kind of more risky stuff later on and all that. And I realized that I never thought about that for about a year. It's almost like when you're maybe to this day, but when you're making love to a lady, for the first, I don't know, 10 years of doing that.
Hold on, let me write this down. Keep going.
Yeah, write this down. So for the first 10 years, I would say, or to now, like you, probably to this day, when you're making love to a lady, you're just like bringing the voice back. I only care about myself, my dick. And you're like, well, her feelings.
Like the peanut butter falcon.
A peanut butter falcon fox, yeah, that's for fucking sure. But like you said, like when like a significant other is like, hey, I like when you do this, and you're like, well, I've never thought about your feelings. I'm just trying to, like, I'm an animal. That is how I did comedy for about a year. I'm like, I don't care how you guys feel. This is my jokes. Take this joke, dick. And it is a joke, dick, for sure. And now we're starting to think about the audience and what makes them, horny, right?
I think that was the only like leg up I had on you guys starting. Was like audience and like
Adaptability.
well, like stage presence. I think that like that.
Yeah, true. I agree.
And I like we've all gone. I just want from those notes. I want to show you.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what
I've seen that
from
before.
Your vaginal talk, whatever.
It was a good analogy. If you're in my brain, you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, to a degree.
If you were me, you knew exactly what I was saying. Definitely.
I've seen your text. I don't think you know what you're saying.
Not a lot of the time I don't, and it's there's a lot of weed in my system, and I blame it on it a lot. But at the same time, I think I'm just getting old because I used to be able to hang.
The way you text, you should probably have. You ever see those file of life things on old people's refrigerators?
File of life? No, what's that?
It's just like in case of, like, don't do this.
It's true. I should look at that thing every day. Don't text while you're
No,
fucking
no,
rip.
no. Just based on your text messages, you should probably have a file of life because I thought I was fucked up. You need a neurologist.
Yeah, well, he would fucking have to peel off a layer of moss off my brain before he could see anything in there.
Why
And
did
he'd
the
be,
neurologist have to be a man?
let's be real. Do you want to do a podcast in fucking Marvel, or do you want to do a podcast on planet Earth?
I wish I wish I remember the comic that went up before the Burn comp that I was in. I wish I remember the comic's name. If anybody ends up seeing this, like, someone had to know who this guy is. But the guy's joke was that his doctor, his female doctor, approached him to tell him that, like, I'm transitioning, and I just want to know if you're still comfortable with that. I'm transitioning to a male, and the guy said, "Yeah, why would I be upset about having a better doctor?"
I remember that joke. I don't think that was a contestant. I think that was
No, no, no,
one
no.
of the
Yeah,
people,
it
right?
was someone that what's her name?
Was it Janet?
Janet, right?
Yeah, McNamara.
Yeah, someone that she put on before they put up like I think like three comics that had decent sets, but that was so even my I think that's the only joke from that night my wife remembers. She's like that was so good.
That is, I really learned that that's the key to when it comes to getting people to remember you afterwards. Are like, I'm trying to figure out a good way to describe it. A lot of the times we write a joke and you're like, this is a funny thing that happened to me, so you want to talk about it and you write a joke around a funny story, and you realize that it's just kind of like that's just a regular thing that happened to a regular guy. And then you see people who do their sets and all their bits are just regular things happening to them. And no one's going to remember those jokes at all. Even if they're funny in the moment. You're like, oh yeah, a guy got into a car accident, a fender bender, where you got a colonoscopy joke, or you got like all these jokes that are like, there's a million of them out there. So good when you see someone like that, when they're talking about like I got a better doctor, where you're like, no one's thought of that. Like that's an original thought. Those are the jokes that you got to try to write as best you can. Like a lot of your jokes, especially in your veteran set, are like, there's no one in the world who would say that besides you.
Yeah, and I know like we've talked outside of the podcast and stuff of that set particular. That there's other stuff that I want to try to do, but in the same token of like I know if I can do this, it's gonna be something that's like, wow, that guy, that's I remember. I got to tell you about this joke, but I want to get this stuff better. And that was another part of maybe talking to you again about on the same struggle that I've had with you guys since I met you, is juggling the excitement and interest in trying new stuff and having fun versus refining, because the refining point isn't as much as a dopamine hit versus the try this new stuff, or even if it bombs, it's like, oh man, but I thought it was funny, so I don't care.
Yeah, no, I feel it's a weird new frontier that we're going on, because I'm trying to, like, I want to do new stuff, but I am either getting ready for a show or doing a show or doing a thing where I'm getting ready for, I have to add this. I'm doing 15 minutes and, or for the first time, 20 minutes or all that. And so I'm doing like all tried and true jokes all the time. And for the first time coming up on one of the next shows that I'm doing, I'm going to go up and I'm going to try to do 20 minutes with 15 minutes worth of jokes. Like, I'm going to try to go up, I know what takes 15 minutes, but I'm going to be more relaxed. I'm going to take more pauses. I'm going to drink more. I'm going to talk to the audience a little bit. And I'm going to throw a couple jokes that I have that are just kind of starting off as jokes, like ones that I don't have fully refined. And I'm going to try to refine them in front of real people at a spot. Because I just think that's the next thing that I got to do. That's the next way I got to start writing, is I got to get on there, real people, and have the feedback and not be afraid to eat shit. Like, I think that I'm so afraid to eat shit at a show that I'm not willing to take risks, and I think that you have to take risks. So, you don't want to disappoint in the beginning.
You're doing shows and stuff, so that makes sense. But I do think like you could do subtle things to your sets to make 15 into 20 because I think you could be more animated at times the way that you tell jokes because it sounds dumb, but if I do this enough times, you're like, you know what I mean, you're adding,
Yeah.
or like if just something like this, that's a couple seconds, that's a couple
Just
seconds.
a pause. Like we talk about it all the time.
and
Christine
move
Hurley
it.
blew our mind with pauses.
Or yeah, just emotion could keep a laugh going, and you could easily add a minute if you just do some facial expressions or something like that. And I think like you have, I think a lot of your bits you could act, not act out, but like there's descriptions or things you could do with that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's because it's right now I'm in a transitionary phase of material where I think 15 minutes and under, I really like styles that are quick, and that's what my style is. I do a joke, I'm on to another joke. Bang, bang, my laugh per minute's really fast. I try to do, like, in a setup there's got to be punches in it, and they're jokey because of that. So a lot of my jokes are going to be, like California Sober or something where it's got a whole a philosophy to the joke as it's going in a style. And I think once you get past 15 minutes, you got to get more conversational in your bits where you're just kind of, you're telling a story like you're around a water cooler type of thing, and you take that joke and, if there's a laugh, you go where the laugh goes, and you kind of go out into the woods and then walk your way back. And that's how you get to, the 30-minute guys are all like that, and the hour guys. I mean, there's Casey Crawford who's doing quick jokes, but he's got these weird pauses that he does to fill up time that are really funny.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of I'm never comfortable when there's not a plan in my set right now. I'm like, I'm doing 10 minutes and I have 8 jokes and I know exactly where the laughs happen and where they don't, and it stops here. Rather than I'm going to go 15 to 20, I'm going to try to stretch. I want to try a couple, not like never tried before bits, but a couple bits there that I want to work on and really get a good reaction on that I wouldn't normally do. There's some shows you have freedom to do that in, and I think it's really important to do that. But I'm also doing a fundraiser soon, which I'm going to do the opposite, where I'm going to be like, I'm doing fucking the ones that work, and I'm not even making eye contact with anybody else because I don't want to ruin because they got a good thing.
Spoken like a true hero.
Yeah, definitely. I will host like a fucking
Well, you
true
just were
professional.
like, yeah, I'm going to do 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to work on myself, do this all this stuff. Fundraising, I'm going to put sunglasses on, read from my phone, and leave.
No. I'm saying I don't want to, there's real consequences at a fundraiser. I mean, there's, that's for good causes. Yeah. And I'm not going to go up there and be like, all right, guys, I have an asshole, and I want to tell you about it.
But I feel like a fundraiser, that'd be such an easier time. Like those,
I hope so.
Those are people that they're there for a reason. They're supposed to be whatever. And I mean, it's easy. It's difficult. It's definitely more difficult at a fundraiser, I imagine, to get a crowd back, depending on the time you have.
I've been known to lose them. That's the thing. Well, I'll have the first fundraiser coming up that I've done, so we'll see how that. I think it's gonna be great. We're gonna have such a great time. But
you do give me a second. I gotta grab another beer. But
right.
Remind me, timing, exercise, convo.
Timing, exercise, convo. Well, that was a tough one. So Wayne still didn't make it, and I miss him. Miss him so dearly, and he edits these, so he'll see this. I love you, buddy. I hope that in the internet world that you're living in, only theoretically right now, you decide to be better at editing this. You motherfucker.
Did I ever? I think I told you this before. Your voice, if I'm not watching you sound like Mayor James Keenan from Tool when he's in interviews.
He's such a dick. How dare you? Okay.
What? He's fucking...
He's the coolest guy of all time, but he's a huge cunt. Yeah, thank you.
Waka
Yeah,
waka, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm wearing the
Oh,
tool
the
jacket
timing
too.
exercise. Because I thought this was something just from what you were saying about your time and stretching and whatnot. I thought it was you that was talking about, like, so say you have a joke and it's a minute long. Find a way to make that 1 minute joke 2 minutes. And if you have a 2 minute joke, make it 1 minute. So that instead of going off crowd feedback, you could just, okay, this joke is not working as much, get out of here, and then elongate the one that to, like to stay into. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I didn't say that. I think Wayne was talking about that actually, so I think it was a podcast thing because I do recall the conversation where we were talking about it. Maybe it was a group chat thing. But yeah, so Wayne tends to write like the house is built and he strips away all the needless things and refines it into a good setup. So he's got a long bit he starts and he eventually whittles it down to good. I start the opposite. A lot of my jokes start with one line. Like I got one that "It's Raining Men" is the exact same song as "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor," and it's just one line, and I don't know how to really make it a joke yet, but I know that that's the beginning of a joke. Like
Yeah.
there's something there, and I got to
That's my
figure out how to
favorite
put a story
part.
around it.
That's my favorite part of all this. I don't know what that makes me if it's just I'm not a comic and I'm just a writer or something, but like putting that puzzle, like the amount of times just like a text between us, and like, no, this is it. Definitely say this, and it's like, yes, that's better than like that's right up there with like hitting a great punchline of like that's the way you want it to go. That's the way I wanted to do it.
Oh no, it's better because you feel like you feel like you're in a video game and you just picked up a new weapon. You're like, I got a new fucking gun. Like it feels so good when you see a bit finally complete. Because it's tough when you get. I think Nick Powell, huge piece of shit, friend of the show. He said a while ago that like once you get past a certain amount of minutes, it doesn't come as easy, like your time. And he's right. I think that really what it is when you first start off, you're way less like careful about the quality of the stuff that you try. You're just like, I don't know, this might be funny,
Yeah.
and so you try a bunch. Like you, I remember doing a different 5 minutes like 5 times in a row. My first couple open mics. And then eventually you whittle down to what's going to be a good joke or a bad joke, so you don't have to really fuck yourself on stage like that. But it comes a lot slower because of that. Like I really want to. Like I have 20 minutes of material that I am happy completely with 15 of it, but I want to, I want to take the next. That's the next step is being able to. Me and Wayne went to Chunky's Cinema to see Amy T last week. And it was great because we got to see an opener do 25 minutes. And it's just, you put yourself in their shoes and you're like, I don't even care about the quality of the bits. Just the fact that you can stand up there for 25 minutes and keep
Right, right,
people
right.
fucking listening to you. That's tough. There's a lot of us that could do 5 minutes. There's only a few that can do a good 25. Like even in our circles, people have been doing it for a long time. Like they're like, I'm a headliner. I can do all this stuff. You see, and they'll do 10 to 15 minutes of material, and they'll start doing like crowd work or something, and then that will be their extra 10 minutes. And you're like, well, that doesn't count. I'm like talking, if
Yeah.
you could do the full 25. I don't know. That's what
I
I'm.
think though, at the same time, as much as how daunting it would like it's like, all right, I need a tight five, I need a tight 10, and by the time, well, like not tight 10, but like a solid 10, and then you
Yeah.
keep like, it's not like the further you get out to committing to 20 minutes, you're like, but the last 5 minutes is really, I don't know, like it's like that's a gradual thing, but I just so much like just time available, like scheduling and stuff like that is the biggest hang up for
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
time.
tough because you got to keep
And
going
that
up.
and my wanting to, I think this is funny. I want to try this. And this is like, I only have X amount of nights per month to do it. So instead of like, this is fun, I want to do it, I should want to make a better set, but then I don't want to, I don't want to get bored.
I think too. One thing that you like, I got to do too, because I think that this is key. I've heard bad advice out there where someone would say something like, "Oh, you're not ready to do that amount of time. To make sure you're doing this amount of time, like doing you're featuring, you're doing this. Oh, you're not ready for that." I think that you should never be ready for the next step that you take in comedy. Meaning, I think that if you don't have, like, if someone asks you to do 15 minutes and you don't quite, go fucking do it, because you're going to work on the stuff so hard before you get that. Like, nothing's going to make you prepare. At least for me, I'm a cram before the test type of guy. So motivation to, like, oh, well, all right, I bit off more than I can chew. Let me fucking handle this. I think that's how you grow. Like, I was talking to a headliner, not on the podcast, just when I was working, and he was telling. I was like, "What was the step where you thought you were a real comedian? Where you were like, all right, I'm fucking doing this thing now. Like what was the level to it?" And he was telling me that it was when he would be able to comfortably stand on stage and do X amount of time, like 25 minutes and all that shit. So I don't know. I'm rambling now, but I think it's important that you go out of your comfort zone. Oh, yeah, this is the point that the guy said. He said, when I got good, it was because I was given opportunities that I wasn't ready for, and it made me really, like, right sick, buckle down and write. Like, he would have 20 minutes, and they'd be like, all right, you're headlining. And he's like, fuck. So then he'd have to go out and, get the 35 minutes. Yeah, my point is get out of your comfort zone, people, okay? And don't do as much drugs as I do during the podcast, or you make it hard for Wayne to edit it. Sorry, Wayne. Should I do a seal noise when I do it? Like,
Oh God, no! Instead of that clap thing, how about this? Hey, all right, Wayne. All right, this is what we're gonna edit.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got for parting thoughts on this shit talking crazy podcast that we've done?
Well, considering the circumstances of just whipping together a podcast, I think we've at least wasted a decent amount of time.
I would like to say that we talked about the really important things in life too, across the board. I mean, the furry conversation is going to be one that they will study in the future to realize that it was me. that's going to be the Netflix documentary later. They're like, the fanatic serial furry man. No one knew that he was just a small Portuguese comedian the whole time, but the clues were there. They were there. Animatronic.
And speaking of, what's the? Never mind. Do you think those blowjob machines count as animatronics?
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is.
All right, I'm pro animatronic again.
Tits on a mouse. Remember that, folks. And remember,
It's
it's a worthy step for the quest for laughs, motherfuckers.
very nice. So I was like, let's go to the movies. And he was like, no, I don't want to go to the Marvel movies.